Yeah. Plus, anyway. What's up, everyone? It seems like every time I do an interview that's not live, I end up wearing this shirt. I did an interview with a porn star in Atlanta, and I just happened to have this shirt on.
Well, don't feel bad, because I had this on when I interviewed with Steph Jones.
Okay. Oh, cool. Well, it's Kevyn and Makael, but it's not the right Kevyn. So.
Yes. Oh yeah.
But one way or another, I have Makael sitting next to me, not Makael, but Teflon Don sitting next to me. And I wanted to basically sit and ask him a couple of questions. I actually want to get both of the stars of the Skorpion Show, both of the stars of the Skorpion Show on the Kevyn M TV show. And actually, I want that to be live. But there's so many questions going on in my head that I just wanted to sit down and talk to Makael since he's here. And he agreed to doing the interview with me. I'm fine too. So what's up?
Nothing.
I'm sorry. I'm used to doing that, like being live.
I'm not used to the one being interviewed.
Okay. Well, how about instead of it being an interview, we just hold a conversation and I just ask all of the questions I want to ask you. How did you and Kevyn meet?
Kevyn and I, we met on MySpace. Kevyn and I were friends on MySpace back in 2006, 2007. And I always knew that Kevyn was like a big Janet Jackson fan. What I used to do was, my MySpace page was like a dedicated fan page to Beyonc. And so whenever a new picture of Beyonc would come out, I would upload it to my page. And then I would kind of like just randomly send it to like different people on MySpace. And Kevyn was one of the people that I used to send it to. Mm-hmm. And it used to annoy him. So I just was like, okay, well, if this is annoying him, let me just keep sending him stuff. So that's what I did. And Kevyn was doing his whole little blog show. I think he started like in 2007. And he had invited me to come on once in 2007, but I said no because at the time, YouTube was still relatively new. Mm-hmm. So I just thought that people, I only went to YouTube to watch videos and things like that. I didn't think that people actually recorded stuff and uploaded it on YouTube, like of them talking. Mm-hmm. And we met, we officially, kind of met a year later in 2008 when I had called him because he had left me his number, but I had never used it. So one day I was bored at home, and I called him and asked him if I could come over to record a video with him, and he said, yeah, and I did. And, we had like an hour-long video of us yelling at each other about Janet Jackson and Beyonc. And in the beginning, of course, a lot of people didn't like me because, it wasn't, I don't think at the time, I don't think there was too many people on the internet defending Beyonc the way I did or do. So I think it was I was so used to getting on the internet and seeing so many people talk so negatively about her, and I was just like, they need somebody on there to defend her. And then I came along, and so, that's kind of how it is. Like, we met on MySpace, and the rest is history.
Well, so that was your first show. So did that show get a big response?
It did. It did, but it wasn't in my favor.
Okay.
It wasn't in my favor. It was negatively. Because like I said, Kevyn had been doing this show by himself for a year at that point. And a lot of people were used to seeing him by himself. So then I came along, people were like, well, who the hell is that? And they didn't want him to invite me back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they did not want me to come back. And it's so funny because 3 years later, it's like, if I was to leave or if either one of us to leave, it would be over.
Yeah.
Because everybody's so used to us together. But at the time, they did not want me back. I remember the comments that people used to leave. They were so nasty. And I was just like, oh, no, I'm not doing that again.
Wow. So what convinced you to do it again?
I don't know. I think we did like a part 2 of our debate about Janet Jackson and Beyonc. But I didn't officially, that was in August of 2008. I didn't officially become officially a part of the show until October of 2008. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we have recorded our first video in August of 2008. And I don't know exactly how it came about that Kevyn decided that he wanted me to stay on the show. I really can't remember how that came about, but it did.
All right, so at this point, you're famous.
No, no, I'm not famous. No,
No,
you're probably more famous than I am.
but you do. Okay, so I guess you don't realize that you're famous.
No.
Do you think Kevin's famous?
No, I don't think we're famous. I think we're probably popular. I don't think we're famous. I would use the term popular, but then I don't even like that word popular. Because I think that
I just watched you guys on your show, the latest one you posted, and you said you were on the bus, and somebody walked up on the bus and they knew who you were. I think that kind of like goes a little bit further.
Yeah, but not everybody knows who I am.
I mean, true, and it's like depends on where you're popular at, or like what field or genre it is, because like you said, you think I'm more famous, but a lot of people, I can walk up and down the street all day long, and a lot of people won't know who I am. But let me walk past somebody gay. Oh my, not even people that's gay, because there's a lot of gay people who don't know who I am.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
So
yeah, I mean, I guess I don't like to look at it that way, but I guess I still say popular.
So I guess the question I was going at would be like, how does it feel? Like outside of the 2 times you mentioned on the show, because I'm pretty sure you've been across more than that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, how does it feel when people walk up to you like, oh my God, you're Makael?
Well, a lot of times for me, I notice that I will get more of, I'm walking down the street and somebody will yell out my name and say, hi, Makael. And of course, I'll always, say hi back, smile, wave. But it feels kind of weird hearing a perfect stranger yell your name. Because, when somebody yells your name out in public, you automatically assume or think that it's somebody that you know. So, of course, if you hear your name being yelled, you turn around and you expect to see somebody that you know or recognize. So when you have a total stranger waving hi, Makael, and it's like, you don't want to be like, who the hell is that? So you have no choice but to say hi. Like, you just have no choice but to say hi. So it is still kind of weird. I don't think I'll ever get used to walking on the street and having somebody say, hi, Makael. And,
so has anyone ever asked for your autograph yet?
People have. Actually, we had a video that Kevyn and I recorded, and we kept it in the video too. There was this lady who was a friend of Kevyn's family, and her daughter loves our show. And her daughter just was like, they live around the corner from Kevyn. They were just like, wow, like, y'all always record these videos, and we never ever get to see Makael. And I guess her daughter's like, really likes me a lot. So then the lady was at Kevyns house while we were recording, so she left to go get her daughter without us knowing. And then she came back with her daughter, and her daughter was so excited. And her daughter came in with a pad and a pen. And she came over to us while we were recording, and she was like, can I have your autograph? And I was like, no, baby, you can't have an autograph. I was like, you can have a hug, but I'm not giving you no autograph, because I ain't Chris Brown.
Is that when you keep yourself humble?
Well, yeah, it does, because, you don't want, I always tell people it's only YouTube. Yeah. I mean, anybody can, I always say this, anybody can do what Kevyn and I do. You just have to have that, if you're going to do it with another person, you have to make sure that you and that person are able to click with each other and have that chemistry. Because I've seen a few videos where people will write Kevyn and I and say that they were inspired by our show, and then I'll go to watch their videos and I'll just be like, I can't see me watching this because the chemistry's not there. Yeah. So, I mean.
Okay, let me see. There's so much I had in mind. You guys are like interviewing a lot of celebrities, and you guys talk a lot about the different celebrity friends you guys have. How did you guys get from we're going to record a video and hold a conversation to Lady Gaga hangs with us and this and the third? How did you get from here to there?
Well, the first celebrity I ever saw mention or heard mention the Skorpion Show was Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child. There was a video of her, because she has her own YouTube channel as well. And there was a video of hers that she had recorded back in, the late summer, early fall of 2008. And she was in London, and she was in her hotel room, and she was just randomly talking on camera about a bunch of different things. And then towards the end of the video, she gives Kevyn a shout out, and I was like, oh wow. And I was just like, oh, like, and I think this was after I had recorded my first video, so I was just like, oh wow, like she knows who he is. And, you know, I was so excited, and I went back and I told him, I was like, I saw a video of Michelle talking, giving you a shout out, and I was just so happy. And it gradually, you know, started becoming where Michelle Williams, and then, you know, we found out that Brandy had seen us, Christina Milian, and then Beyonce. Going back to MySpace, Beyonce's stylist, he and I were friends on MySpace, and we're just MySpace friends.
Mm-hmm.
And when Twitter came along, Beyonce's cousin was on Twitter, and Michelle was on Twitter, and Michelle followed me. Mm-hmm. Beyonce's cousin, Angie, who used to be Beyonce's personal assistant, she followed me on Twitter. Her stylist followed me on Twitter. And so, you know, it all kind of, it's weird because it's weird how it all fell into place. But, you know, Ty, who was Beyonce's stylist, he always knew me from MySpace. But then when the show came along and I started doing the show, and how I was, you know, always defending Beyonce and things like that, that's how I came about meeting Beyonce. Because Beyonce's cousin Angie and Ty, they got together and decided that when Beyonce came to Philly, that they were going to introduce me to her, which I thought was really, really nice because I didn't have to pay to see her. I got to meet her for free, and she was really, really nice. But Ty had showed Beyonce a few of our videos, and, you know, she liked them, and I thought that was really, really, really good. Lady Gaga, how that came about, I don't know if you watched the Braxton show, Toni Braxton and her sisters on TV, but the youngest sister, Tamar, she's married to one of Gaga's managers. Oh. And so when Gaga was on tour last year over in Japan, Tamar was in her hotel room, and she didn't have any English on the TV. So how she, you know, spent her time was on YouTube, and she came across our videos. And after she watched one, she couldn't help but to keep clicking on, you know, the rest of them. So she went to go tell her husband about us and was like, you know, you guys got to see these two guys on YouTube. And come to find out, Lady Gaga was in the room and said, wait, I know those guys. I watched them too. And it was like, wow, like, you know. And then they wanted to meet up with us, and we met with them in New York City last year, and it's been history. You know, we met Lady Gaga twice. We met her in New York City, and meeting Lady Gaga, it was so fun because when we met her at Madison Square Garden, she came into the room where we were, and she was so excited, she jumped on Kevyn. Like, he was standing there, and she jumped on him to the point where her legs were wrapped around him, and, you know, they were like swaying back and forth, and he was just like, and I was just like, ah! And then, you know, afterwards, we were all sitting there talking, and she was just saying how she loved the videos, and she was telling us about a video, you know, certain videos that she had seen, and then she would start repeating the stuff that we had said, and it was just like, wow, like she really is sitting there watching. But it's a blessing to know that people like that high up, actually sit down and watch it, because, you know, my mom used to always tell me a long time ago, you never know who's watching. And that's the honest to goodness truth. I've come to realize that.
So like, that's a little bit, not a little, that's a lot different from saying the guy on the bus recognized you to saying Lady Gaga recognized you. Like, what does that feel like?
But see, I don't look at it as being different.
No?
Because I don't, you know, it's maybe because of the fact that I've met so many celebrities in the past 2 years that to me now it's like every time I meet a celebrity, of course you get that, oh my God, this is so and so. But for me, like a minute later, it's like, oh, this is, you know, just a regular person. Like talking to Lady Gaga, everybody always asks me, is she weird? It's like, no, she's actually regular. She's a regular person. I think just her creativity is what sets her apart from everybody else. Mm-hmm. But when you're talking to her, she's sitting there having a normal conversation with you. She's not doing anything crazy, or she's not saying, I want this, give me this right now. Yeah. She's normal. You know, the whole time we were in the room talking to Lady Gaga, she sat on Kevyn's lap. The whole time. She sat on his lap, and we just talked. And, you know, she just was holding a conversation with us. So I don't see Lady Gaga and the guy who came up to me on the bus, I don't view them any differently, because they're both people. Yeah, they're both people.
That's cool. What do you got? Where do you see your show going from this point? Like, what are you guys' goals?
Well, we would love to get it on TV. I remember there was one point where Kevin wanted it to be on radio, and I didn't want it to be on radio. I thought we should be on TV because I thought that not only do people who watch us, they like to hear what we have to say, but they also like to see us, and they like to see us interact with each other. You know, so I just always, was hell bent on making sure that we got on TV, and that's our goal. Our goal now is to make sure that we are on television because I mean we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. I mean we're not all the way there, but we are doing pretty good for ourselves. I think in the 3 years that we have been doing this together, for us to encounter people like Beyonc and Lady Gaga and Michelle Williams and Tony Braxton, and Kevyn met Polo the Don, and all these different people. I think that's pretty good for a show that's on YouTube with two guys filming in their mother's dining room.
What do you think is the I don't want to say gimmick because I don't think it's a gimmick, but there's a quality. There's something about you and Kevin's chemistry, or you sitting there. What do you think it is that actually attracts people? That, because like when I turn it on, it's like you're stuck. You got to sit there and watch the entire 45 to hour, however long it is. You get stuck. What do you think it is about you guys that just grabs everyone?
The realness. It's not us sitting in a room with a white wall or a green screen or something, or us dressed up in a suit and tie or a dress shirt. It's us sitting in Kevin's mother's dining room giving our honest opinions about what's going on. But not only that, you have people walking back and forth behind us because you got to remember we are still in somebody's house. And so that's the realness of it. You got people walking back and forth. You got babies crying. You got the doorbell ring. You got the phone ringing. And then if we really get into a topic that is really, really heated, you got people in the background yelling their opinions.
Yeah.
So that's the realness of it. And I think that's what that's why a lot of people gravitate to us, because we've had a lot of people write to us and say, the way you guys go at it is the way we go at it at my house, or Kevin's mom reminds me of my grandma, or reminds me of my mom, so I think that's why, because when you think about it, you don't have any other show on YouTube where if they are in their house, other people are literally walking back and forth and chiming in, so I think it's ghetto as it is, because it is ghetto, and it can be annoying at times when you have a child screaming in the background, but it's the realness of it, and I'm glad because that's what gravitated a lot of people to us.
How do you stay focused with so much going on? Because I could not do it. I swear to you, I would my attention span straight as it is.
In the beginning, it was not easy because I wasn't used to it. See, in my house, it's just 4 of us: my mother, my father, myself, and my sister. In Kevin's house, it's like his whole family, and so I was just like, wow, but they were all used to it.
Yeah. So
I wasn't used to it. So I'm just like, wow, the yelling and the cussing I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. But after 3 years, I'm used to it. Like I'm immune to it. It's almost as if I do live there when I say I don't live there. Because I'm just so immune to it.
Like every time you say it, okay, I could swear that you live there.
Yeah, that's what I mean, a lot of people think that I live there. I mean, I could live there. You would never know as many people live there. But I love the fact that he has his whole family living with him, because that brings another realness to it. That's just that North Philly family, where you've had certain families where when you were growing up, you had those friends where their mom and their aunt and all of them all lived in this one big house, and that's how Kevin's house is, and I love it because it's like it's always something going on. It's always something going on.
I guess recently just learned that you are a big Julia Roberts fan. But outside of acting, who do you think would be your biggest inspiration or your role model?
I would probably have to say Beyonc. As cheesy as that may sound, but I look at her as a person who she's really focused on what it is that she does. And I've noticed that in the 15 years that she's been in the business, out of all the negative things that have come out, that have been said about her in the media or on blog sites, you never ever hear her respond to it. And if she does respond to it, she always responds to it with a smile and a, well, you know, like when Etta James criticized her for singing At Last at the presidential inauguration. I thought that was a low blow because of the fact that it was Obama who asked for Beyonce to sing that. It wasn't like Beyonce just said, "Oh wait, pick me and oh let me sing this song." She was invited to sing that song, and so when Etta James came out and said, "How dare she sing my song?" It was just like, well, she was invited to do it. And when Beyonce was asked how did she feel about Etta James criticizing her, you know, she smiled and said, you know, well, you know, I like Etta James and she's a legend, and you know, she's entitled to her opinions. You know, she could have took the low road like Etta James and criticized Etta, but she took the high road. And that's what I mostly like about Beyonce, because you never ever hear her criticize other people in the game.
I want to ask you, where do you think she got it from? That quality about her. And this is a little bit off of interviewing you, but it's just talking in general. The reason why I ask is because you know she's raised in the same house with Solange. Solange handles things a whole lot differently.
Solange handles things a whole lot differently. I think that her parents, even though they were raised in the same household as, you know, but I think that her parents, and a lot of times you're not going to always, you and your siblings are not going to always do things the same way. So I think Beyonce is one of those people that, you know, she's really somebody that when her mother and father said, you know, this is how you act in public, you know, she really took to it. And you can tell that she's her mother's daughter. Because you can tell that her mother was the same way. Her mom seems like a very classy lady, and you can tell that's where she gets it from. Not saying that Solange isn't classy, but Solange is just one of those people like, I don't give a damn. I'm going to cuss you out. You know?
I kind of feel like Solange had it rough just because she was Beyonce's little sister. So it's kind of like, because I think when she snapped it on news interview, that's what, don't say, or something
about Jay-Z. Yeah. About her brother-in-law. And yeah, I know what you're saying.
So I think it may be an issue of her being Beyonce's little sister, and I'm Solange. I have my own.
Well, I mean, I can't really blame Solange, because who wants to be identified as someone's little sister? You know, I don't want to be identified as, oh, that's Kevyn and that's his sidekick Makael. Like, I'm Makael. You know, I don't want to be identified as that. So I mean, I can kind of feel with Solange. Nobody wants to be identified as somebody's little sister. I mean, you are Beyonce's little sister, but you are Solange, who is a singer, a songwriter, an actress. I mean, for God's sake, she's written some of Beyonce's songs on some of her previous albums. So, you know,
just put something else up.
You know, just give her the credit that she deserves.
Beyonce is how do I want to put this? People say that she's not original. I say that she's not original. Even when I looked at who run the world, I saw so many different singers and dancers and stuff. What do you have to say to that? Like, really, like.
Well, okay. Well, first, people say that Beyonce is not original, but then I'd have to ask you, who is in this business today? Because when you think about Lady Gaga has taken stuff from Madonna, Patti LaBelle. I mean, first of all, people were saying, you know, when Lady Gaga came out and was dressed all crazy and people were going crazy about it, I said, well, wait, Patti LaBelle used to do that in the 70s with LaBelle. You just go on YouTube and find old clips of Patti LaBelle dressed like a freak. So Lady Gaga didn't start that. You know, she got that from somebody. Grace Jones came out and said the same thing about Lady Gaga. There's some things she took from her. I mean, there's a lot of people who take stuff from other people and they recreate it and make it their own. Beyonce is one of those people who, when she, I don't like to use the word take, but when she's inspired by these other artists, she does give them credit. Because there's been time and time again when Beyonce has said she's been inspired by Michael, or she's been inspired by Janet, or she's been inspired by Tina Turner, which is somebody who I can clearly see Beyonce was inspired by, because whenever I see Beyonce on stage, she kind of reminds me of a young Tina Turner, you know? So it's not like Beyonce takes from these people and doesn't give them credit. I mean, she does give them credit. I think that being as though Beyonce is such a big star, I think that she's put on this high pedestal that so many people expect her to be this great thing, like the way Michael Jackson was. You know, but then again, when you look at it, Michael Jackson took from James Brown. You know, so it's like, come on. True. I mean, everybody takes from everybody. So I mean, it's I don't really go into that. Oh, Beyonce's not original, because Beyonce, when she gets on stage to perform, That's original. That can't be copied. When she gets on stage to perform, that's not her dad up there. Like a lot of people say, oh, she wouldn't be where she is unless it was her father. Her father's not on stage singing. Her father's not on stage dancing. That's all Beyonce. You can't mimic or duplicate that. Beyonce is one of those people who was born to do what it is that she does, and that's just how I feel about it. But it's the original stuff. It's all right. I mean, people say that I'm not original. I'm not original. I mean, somebody was born before me. I'm not original.
So if you weren't doing the Skorpion Show, what would you be doing?
Probably sleep at home. But I don't know. My life would probably be even more boring than it is right now.
Probably like boring.
Well, I don't really do anything. Like, I mean, I record with Kevin, then I go home and then go to sleep, and then wake back up to do it all over again the next day. Not record, but go to work. I mean, I don't really do anything. I mean, Miami will probably be the only trip that I take this whole entire year if I don't go anywhere else.
You don't plan on going to Pride?
Well, no, I don't really do too many prides. I mean, my first pride was Atlanta back last year in January. That was my first pride. And then I went to Sizzle. Mm-hmm. And then I went to Atlanta again in September. And I wasn't supposed to go to Sizzle this year, but we were invited to come. So I went to Sizzle this year. But I'm not going to do any more prides this year.
So what type of events would you like to go to? Or what type of things would you like to do? With the Skorpion Show and then independently, just as an individual, things that you like to do?
Wait, what do you mean, like?
Well, I think you mentioned Kevin at the Grammy party.
Okay.
But like, what type of places like that? Like, as far as the success of the show, where would you like to see it go? Like traveling, would you like to do like red carpet events?
Well, of course, I would love. Well, we did the Braxton's their show when their reality show premiered. Wasn't it April? Yeah, it was in April when it premiered. We did their premiere party like a few days before it actually came out. We flew to LA and we did the red carpet and we were able to interview all of the sisters, their mom. We interviewed the dad from Smart Guy. Mm-hmm. We interviewed Toya from Tiny and Toya. I can't remember who else. I don't know who else we interviewed, but it was pretty fun. I would love to do that again. Do more, one-on-one interviews. I would love to see the Skorpion Show when it does make it to TV. I'd love to see it in New York City because, I just think that New York City would bring a lot more exposure to the show. Mm-hmm. Not down in Philly, but,
Well, I mean, it's online, so it's already reaching so many people.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if we were to do it on TV, then, because I don't know too many studios here in Florida. I mean, we could be the first, but you never know.
So, as far as you personally, what type of places do you like to travel to, or would you like to travel to? What things you'd like to do?
I would love to travel overseas. I can't wait until my first trip. I think my first trip overseas, I would love for it to be London. Okay. I would love to go to London so I can ride on one of those big, red double-decker buses. I'm just so corny when it comes to stuff. Like, I want to go to London just to ride the subway. When I can do that here, but that's just what I want to do. Like, I want to do stuff like that so I can say when I'm 80 years old, I was in London and I rode their subway once, I mean, not too many people. A lot of people go to London and don't ever look at the subway, but I'd like to be one of those people that actually goes down there and ride it. And I don't know if I'm going to ride it too, but just to ride it. But I'd love to go to London. I'd love to go to Africa. Mm-hmm. I would love to go there. I love to go to a lot of places overseas. I love to go to Mexico, Jamaica, just all over. Anywhere I'll be able to afford to go. That's where I want to go.
But you want to be able to afford to go everywhere, I'm sure. Huh? You want to be able to afford to go everywhere. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's your favorite vacation spot or getaway spot as it stands?
Well, before Miami, it was Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I used to love Myrtle Beach when I used to go a long time ago. Miami is a beautiful place. Mm-hmm. Miami's to be honest, Miami's the only vacation spot that I've actually ever been to. Mm-hmm. When I went to LA, it wasn't for vacation, it was for work. So I didn't get to do anything vacation wise. So I mean, Miami's really nice. I would definitely go back for vacation. That's a nice spot.
Well, I'm going to get some questions together and like actually schedule a sit down live show with both you and Kevin, so we can have a good conversation. Talk to the both of you, because I know when I first met Kevin, I probably freaked him out because I just walked up to him. He's eating and I didn't care. I just like walked up to him. But
you never know. You just gotta do it. You never know when it is you're gonna see him again.
Exactly, and I've seen him several times in the club afterwards.
I'm sure you shampoo.
Yep. Shampoo and I think encore.
I saw you in shampoo once. I seen you a lot. I saw you in shampoo too. Man, you know, I've only been to shampoo, I think, out of my entire life 3 times. And I think they were all last year. And I seen you in there. And you were dancing.
I don't dance.
No, you were dancing. Somebody was dancing on you.
Well, that happens quite often. So.
I saw it happen. I saw it. You were up against that wall or that post, whatever it is, in the middle of the floor in shampoo. And you...
Oh, Lord.
I saw. That's where it all goes back to. You never know who's watching.
And that's why I'm boycotting.
Well, yeah. Now.
And that's not. But see, that's another reason why. Because impressions mean a lot, especially first impressions. And
well, no, it wasn't anything bad. I mean, it's a club, so I expect to see you dance. I don't want to see you like me. I was sitting on the wall, so I would expect to see you dancing.
Yeah.
But it's funny.
You're not a good dancer.
Who, me?
No, me. I'm saying I'm not a good dancer. So
no, you weren't doing it. No, you weren't bad. I mean, the person was dancing on you, but I mean, you was keeping up. But what I'm trying to say is, the person that I saw at the club that night is not the person that's here today. Like you come off as quiet and
Yeah.
So I mean that's not a bad that's not a bad thing at all. But I did see you dancing. I just want to let you know.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Well, like I was saying, we'll schedule a Thursday or Monday night when everybody's available. We'll talk to the friends, and hopefully I can get on you guys' show, which was the reason why I approached Kevin in the beginning. So I get on you guys' show.
So what is? Oh, excuse me, that's bad. Where is this gonna go?
This is probably going, not probably. It's going to go on YouTube and on my blog.
Okay. So. Don't hate me, y'all.
Why would they hate you?
Well, everybody hates me.
So, do you get hate messages from people?
I do.
Do you just?
I get them a lot on Twitter. Whenever I say something about a certain celebrity and their fans don't like it, they'll immediately hit me up on Twitter and just call me all types of names and say, "You don't know." I used to respond back to it, but not anymore.
Okay. So you get it often?
No, not often. Only when I say something that's really, really that they really, really don't like. Okay. Like, but not too often. It's not. It hasn't been that bad lately, so that's a good thing.
Because I've been getting, and it seems like it's the same person who keeps sending messages over, and I'm trying to just brush it off. But because so much good is happening right now, I can't really pay attention to the negative. So one way or another, I guess you guys can watch this video on, like I said, it'll be on my blog, it'll be on YouTube, and I'll probably post it on Facebook too. And tell somebody about it. I guess I'll tag you in it. And I'll probably do it tonight. I don't think I'm going to do much editing to it at all. And now I got clips to my to the Purple Party that you guys can watch. And as soon as we get a date to go live, I will let you guys know. And I probably shouldn't be saying this. I'm going to edit it. It's going to be edited. I guess it doesn't matter.
What, saying what?
When it goes live, because they probably see this months and months after the fact.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's your show, so I'm just
thinking out loud. I'm thinking out loud. Yeah, so thank you all for watching. Thank you for giving me this time, these past 35 minutes, 34 minutes, or whatever. And we'll see you again soon.